first and foremost, I would like to give all the honors and the praises and all the glory belongs to my Lord and Savior. His name is YAHAWASHI, Bahasham, Wahavaka Kwadash. Name of the Heavenly Father is Yahweh. Son's name is YAHAWASHI, in who I reverence. Honors to the apostles that are in the Holy Spirit and to the hopeful elect across the globe, and to the few brothers and sisters listening and also learning in the hopes of being saved within these last days. We're going to get straight to the point. All right? The camps have been infiltrated, if you didn't know. And this is a topic of interest. The camps have been infiltrated. Right? Just like the churches get infiltrated by what? Satan. Right? All types of individuals are all up in this truth. Right? Have infiltrated. We're going to go straight to Luke. Before we go to Luke, we're going to go into the signs of how these camps have been infiltrated. I've been doing videos on this for years now, right? But it's becoming more obvious. Excuse me. It's becoming more obvious, right? And it's for you to see the signs, right? These are your favorite camp leaders. Yeah, I know. It's your favorite camp leaders and so forth. Certain men that have been in for what, 2 years, 3 years. You have to be able to see. You can't just watch someone because, oh, I like the way he dresses. I like the way he speaks. He's got the gift of gab. No. Right? So let's start off on the things to look out for. Let's go to Peter's. They've been infiltrated. They're working with COINTELPRO. Yeah, these men are working with COINTELPRO. Right? To get you hemmed up. Right? All the signs are there. Let's go to Peter's 2nd chapter. But there were false prophets among the people, even as there shall be false teachers among you. So these were signs. False teachers, false prophets. Even there shall be false teachers among you. So if they're false, they weren't really sent by YAHAWASHI on the right hand. So they were sent, but to deceive you. So who's a false prophet set up by? Esau, the devil. Wheat and tares. Right? And it says, Babakasha. And it says, who shall privily bring in damnable heresies, false doctrines. That's another sign of someone that's been set up, a congregation that's been set up. Damnable heresies. Damnable means leading to condemnation, right? When you go into the Greek, it says eternal misery in hell, which basically the grave, right? So there's particular people teaching things that are not sound doctrine. One of them is, we're not sure about the sign, Negro only. Bro, that's a false doctrine. That's a false teacher. Right? Because your mother and father don't need to be Negro. Right? It's by your father's lineage. And we teach there is Israelite foreigners that are scattered. Yes, we talk about the Irish. We talk about the Scottish. We talk about the Welsh. That line descends from Jacob. They are Israelites. And if you're not teaching that, then you're a false prophet. Right? And you may be set up by the enemy. Right? And whether you're set up by the enemy physically or the spiritual demon Satan, same thing. Okay? Who shall privily bring in damnable heresies, even denying the Lord Yahushua that bought them. Right? And bring upon themselves swift destruction. And many shall follow their pernicious ways, their destructive ways. By reason of whom the way of truth shall be evil spoken of, and through covetousness shall they with vain words make merchandise of you. That's what they were going to do. They were going to make merchandise of you. They're just in it for a paycheck. Right? They're just in it for a paycheck. Esau has them in their back pocket. And that's what happens when you take the 501c3 charter. The 501c3 charter is when you're tax exempt. But you being tax exempt, you're given a bag of money, but they tell you, don't teach certain things. So some of these men, they're under a gag order, but they can't really teach you how to shy. That's a gag order, right? Type in the 501c3 charter. These men are compromised. So do you really want to follow someone like that? And with fame words make merchandise of you, whose judgment now of a long time lingereth not. So they're going to get judged and you're going to see it. And their damnation slumbereth not. What I'm here to do is warn you, to get you out of the way of the false prophets. Right? This way you have to read the scriptures and know who you're learning of. Because these men, they could be set up to fucking, excuse my language, they could be set up to get you hemmed up, get you in trouble, get you locked up, bring a false accusation upon you. Be very circumspect. So that was just one of the signs. What's another one of the signs? Agent provocateurs, right? Agent provocateurs as well. Men that act a particular way, unseemly, right? There's all these different signs. Okay. Baba Kashar. Let's go to Ecclesiasticus, Baba Kashar. 8. Come on now. It's Ecclesiastes 8. And let's jump straight to verse. Because there's signs. There's signs of particular men that are just not right. And I always like to give people the benefit of the doubt. But there's just particular signs, man. Go to Ecclesiastes chapter 8. And jump straight to verse. Where is it? Go to verse 15. Travel not by the way with a bold fellow. So the scriptures do say the righteous are as bold as a lion, but it says travel not the way with a bold fellow, because this bold fellow, he has no rule over his spirit, and he that have no rule over his spirit is like a city without what walls. Anything can enter in. Travel not by the way of a bold fellow, lest he become grievous unto thee. Right? You can't take this nigger I gotta say, you can't take this nigger nowhere with you, because he doesn't know how to act, doesn't know how to conduct himself, always getting in arguments. Right? I've seen this with my own eyes. I don't need to call out names, but I've experienced this. And he's like, hold on a minute, this guy could get me in trouble, right? Because he's not applying the scriptures. Men do videos on prudence, but you act like a reprobate. You don't even have to keep your spirit in check. So travel not with someone like that, because you can't take this guy anywhere with you, because he just brings forth trouble. For he will do according to his own will. In other words, he will lean on his own understanding, not the scriptures. And I shall perish through him through his folly. You had that in the world. There was someone, an individual you would hang around with, and every time you would hang around with them, there'd be some type of trouble that happens. Verse 16, strive not with an angry man, and go not with him in a solitary place, a silent place, for blood is nothing in his sight. That spirit of Cain, and where there is no help, he will overthrow thee. Right? So, you don't really want to be holding camp or with individuals like that. Unless, because we all come from different backgrounds, unless you see an improvement and that individual seeks to change that. That's another sign of an agent provocateur. Alright? And we're going to get to the scriptures. And 3. Basically, someone, they could just be demon possessed. Right, that lead them to come up against his truth, and they may still be holding on to things of the world, Christianity, right? So because they hold on to Christianity, when we bring out to them the truth, right, they feel a particular way. Isaiah 30, and 9, that this is a rebellious people, a lying children that will not hear the Lord, YAHAWASHI. Which say to the seer, see not unto the prophets, prophesy not unto us right things, speak unto us smooth things, prophesy deceits, get ye out of the way, turn aside out of the path, cause the Holy One of Israel to cease from before us. In other words, they're like, stop. That's what they're like. In other words, they're like, stop teaching this word. In other words, they don't care about YAHAWASHI. Get him from among us. In other words, they want us to stop teaching. You have Israelites that are like that. Why? Because they've been taught Christianity. Right? And it's in conflict with what they've been taught. They love the oppressor, so they'll be willing to come up against their own people to save the oppressor. Right? That's how low of self-esteem our people have. Right? They would defend the enemy and come up against us and their own power. Right? Why? Because they despise this word. Right? So they're all the signs. Now we're going to go to Luke, the main crutch of this lesson. This is Luke 20. And go straight to verse 17. And beheld Rem and said, What is this then that is written? This Yahawashi speaking, right? The stone which the builders rejected, the same is become the head of the corner. The same has become the head of the corner, right? And that's what the stone, what? Who the builders, who did they reject? They rejected Yahawashi. And Yahawashi is the Son of the Most High. And the only way you have forgiveness is through Yahawashi. The only way you have salvation is through Yahawashi. So, if you forsake the Son of the Most High, Yahweh, how do you expect to be saved? So you got men doing the same thing again today. And they expect to be saved. This is why you need to get real. Verse 18, whosoever shall fall upon the stone shall be broken, but on whomsoever it shall fall, it shall grind him to powder. Right? So there's a lot of men within this truth, they're being grounded to powder. Anytime you speak about Yahawashi, right? When really, you hear this word, you shouldn't be getting grinded to powder. When you hear about Yahawashi, there should be a big smile on your face. You shouldn't be getting all discombobulated, angry. We're talking about Yahawashi. And that's how you know who's who. And the chief priests and the scribes, at that same hour, sought to lay hands on him. They wanted to get physical, right? Let's get physical. But whosoever, this little Sadrach, and they fed the people. They didn't want to do anything because they knew the people were hearkening unto Yahawashi, and they knew he was the Messiah. For they perceived that he had spoken this parable against them. Sometimes you just do a video, but whoever it cuts, it cuts. They perceived that they spoke that parable against them. Perceived. Right? Because it obviously had an effect on them. And they watched it, and they watched him. And that's why when I do talk about so-called gang stalking, most of it is coming from inside of the truth. Some of the situations, you can't really blame people, but a lot of the situations that the righteous, the upright men in this truth face is through men that are around the truth, believe it or not. Men that have Bibles in their hands, believe it or not. How do we know? Because it's the same thing with Yahawashi. It says they watched him. They were watching him. Right? And some more advice as well. If you join a camp, it's not mandatory. You don't have to do WhatsApp, all that shit. That's some shit of the world. You don't have to do WhatsApp. So if anyone's telling you, oh no, we're going to do a live show, this is what we're going to do. You don't have to. Right? And it doesn't mean you're disorderly. You don't have to. It's not a commandment, right? You don't have to. If anyone asks, any camp leader asks you for your email address, don't give them your email address. None of their fucking business, excuse my language, right? Don't belong to them. You don't need to do that. Don't give them none of your private details, because these individuals might be working for government agencies. They may be in them big offices getting bent over by Esau, may even sold out. This is what's happening. I'm not going to go into all the details and the intricacies, but whatever's in the dark shall come to light. Whatever's in the dark shall come to light. Right? And it says, and they watched him and sent forth spies. They sent forth spies. These were the chief priests and Pharisees. So, you know, when we think about spies, you may be thinking, hold on, why am I being watched? Are you sure it was the government agencies? Some may say, oh, it was my next door neighbor. Someone reported me. The scripture says they sent forth spies. So, you're targeting, you were being targeted prior to you even realizing. And these particular men in the truth sent these spies. They let them know, oh, this guy is going to be a danger to our position, because the same thing happened with Yahawashi. This is what I'm trying to get you to understand. Right? And it says, and they watched him and sent forth spies. Go into this word spies, is enkaf itenos in the Greek, secretly, to lie in wait. So these men were lying in wait. They're in camps, but they're lying in wait. A spy, one who is bribed by others to entrap a man by crafty words. So I've seen it. I was trying to tell you about this years and years and years ago. No one would listen. Some of the elders mocked. Some just brushed it off. But hold on, I want to mention Great Millstone. I'm talking about Great Millstone. I'm talking about Great Millstone, right? And you got one elder said, yeah, we got spies in the camp, like it's cool, right? All types of shit's going on. The camps have been infiltrated, and your elders don't care because they were the same ones that sent these spies in. They're the ones that set them up, right? To look at to spy out the ones that actually do have the spirit of YAHAWASHI. Because if you had the spirit of YAHAWASHI, you wouldn't need to do that. Now, do we watch brothers' videos to get edified? That's something different. But to spy out your brother, come on, man. Right? Which should feign themselves just men. So it says to feign. So they're not really just men. Feign means to pretend. Right? Pretend. They snuck up in there. Boy, there's so many things I've seen. So many experiences I've seen. You got men, they had to force themselves in. They had to beg to get into a camp. They had to beg. Some men, they weren't just always of the world. They were more concerned with their job. And they just come around when it suits them. You know? You got all types of spies. You got all types of spies up in this camp. Right? You can even have a whole camp full of spies. Government agents. After camp, they're flipping, reporting back to the enemy. This is what's going on. That should feign themselves just men, pretend to be holy, when really they're wicked. And I was watching a video yesterday. I'm just going to put it out like this. I was watching a video of a particular camp, right? And all of these individuals had what's the word? Demons, right? If you look carefully as well, when you're watching a video, there's a particular demon. You know that Scream, that movie Scream, right? And that Scream mask, that's an actual demon, right? It was that type of look, right? The camera kind of blurred out and you could actually see them spirits in their faces. And I'm talking about a whole camp, a whole entire camp, right? A whole entire camp. So things even get revealed in the spirit, right? Have men really repented? And it says, which should feign themselves just men that they may take hold of his word. So you got men that pretend to be righteous, come into camps, you know, reprobates, you know, they act undercover. Yeah, we're undercover. You flipping idiot. Bro, you're going to come back shamed in the kingdom, right? Oh, what was you doing? Oh, I was spying on the men of the Lord. You're going to come back in shame. Was it really worth it? But they may take hold of his words and they might deliver him unto the power and the authority of the governor. I've seen it. This is about 3-4 years back. Oh, I blown my cover. Man, bro, I don't think, brothers and sisters, we got to stop being naive. Why are you watching the videos? I watched one video, this individual, this reprobate, oh, I blown my cover. Yeah, you did blow your cover, right? And men, if you watch carefully enough, they give themselves away. You would think a spy is supposed to be someone with high intelligence. Well, these guys, they're not too bright. For you to be a spy, you have to have a high level of intelligence, know how to move. But why these people, they're not too bright. You know, they're not too bright. You know, if you're going to hire a spy, at least have some form of intelligence. All right? Then they may gather his words. Okay? And so they might deliver him unto the power and authority of the governor. So these are men, because they're comfortable in this world, they don't like what we're teaching because this truth is really against this world. They want to gather us to the governor. Esau, the Rothschilds, right? That's what they want to do. Or because it's in conflict with what they teach, because they compromised, because they took that charter, right? So their whole thing is, oh, no, we got to do something about them. But you're not fighting against us, you're fighting against YAHAWASHI. Right? So that's what they wanted to do. Right? Deliver you unto the governor. Right? So now we went to that. Let's jump to Galatians. Alright? Galatians 2 and 4. All types of... Look, bro, I've pretty much seen it all. pretty much. So much stuff. You have men, leaders of camps, heads of camps. How do you know they haven't been set up? Because when we think of agents and so forth, you always think of, no, it's just someone that's just new to the camp. No, you could have a men, they were already set up to be false prophets, right? Set up to be false prophets. Certain men, they start up a camp, they're all wearing black, no garments. Come on, like, all the signs are there. What Yahawashi has shown me is beautiful, but it's you brothers need to wake up and see what's going on, right? Go to Galatians 2, right? A lot of your persecution, show me, you brothers, a lot of you are being persecuted because of men in the truth, right? And these would be the same men doing videos on Esau all day, how wicked Esau is. But you're as wicked as Esau. These would be the same men that are running to Esau to try and get you hemmed up. Galatians 2 and 4. And that because of false brethren, that's that feigned again, right? They're not real brethren, unawares brought in, who came in privily to spy out our liberty, which we have in Yahawashi Mashiach. So they came in privily. Privily. Right? Privily means stealthily. They came in stealth mode. Right? Crept in. Right? And some of these individuals, they're bug outs. And I don't usually use that term because, now, can the Lord heal someone? Yeah, but some of these men, they're bug outs. Bug outs. Reprobates that were brought in. Right? You have to examine. A man needs to be vetted. You don't just let any man in your camp. You need to vet these men out first. Just like in the military, you vet them out. See what they're made of. You want to bring men into the truth. They can't even keep up with a simple quota of 3 videos a week. They can't even do that. The truth has been infiltrated. Why they might bring us into bondage? So they want to bring us into bondage. Right? They want to bring us back into bondage. Under who? Esau. They want to keep us here. They'd be happy if there's another 5 years here. They'd be more than happy to stay here. That's why you're not supposed to want a position here. Because if you have a higher position here, then you're going to be trying to attain that. So we went into that. We're going to shut off. We're going to move on to the next one. These were the same individuals coming up against Yahawashi. Right? These things have I spoken to you. John 16. That you should not be offended. They shall put you out of the synagogues, their camps. A lot of these camps, I just call them the synagogues. I call it the synagogue of Satan. And that's who they're worshipping, Satan. Right? They shall put you out of the synagogue. Yeah. Right? The time cometh, whosoever killeth you, think he doeth the Most High service. So they're going to put you out of the synagogues. Right? They're going to think they're doing the right thing when they're not. They're doing Satan's bidding. Okay? I'm not saying all camps are wicked, of course not. Is there elect in Great Milton? Of course there's an elect. But there's wicked men as well, and a lot of them. Right? That are working for the enemy. Infiltrated the truth. Right? Don't be fast to join any camp. Don't be fast to... If you can teach by yourself, teach by yourself. And that's even better. Because the Lord will have to... He'll sup with you even more. It's harder. Right? But if you have brothers around you that are sincere, that's something else. Right? And it's better when there's less of you anyway. He sent them out 2 by 2. We didn't have this 5, 8, 10 man camp. But you're all lukewarm. You're all deceitful. The Lord ain't dealing with that. The Lord is dealing with a small remnant. And the more you're in a group, it's easier for it's easy for Esau to find out who you are. Less is more. Right? You want less within this truth. Right? And it's harder for Esau to really capitalize and get you when you have less. Alright? So less is always more. Alright? These zombies, more zombies, man. Oh man. So less is more. Right? And just be aware, because the camps are being infiltrated. They've been infiltrated what can we do? There's not much more we can do. You got to let YAHAWASHI deal with that, and he's going to sort it out. Everything's going to be revealed. And I just want to say this: please don't come running to my page. You can, but please don't say, oh, please, you were right. When certain things start getting revealed, please don't come running to my page. Oh yeah, we knew you were right. No, you didn't, because you were following these men, and you're gonna be surprised. You're gonna be surprised. These are men that you think are holy and holier. Couldn't harm a fly. That's why you gotta have discernment. Okay. So with this, I hope this was edifying, and on to the next one. Shalom.